Hello everyone and welcome to the next in our series of daily origami for YouTube. Today we're going to continue with our theme for Father's Day, and we're going to actually just finish things up by making a soccer ball. And this soccer ball is like a modular kind of origami where you take lots of different pieces and put them together to make a three-dimensional final project. And you will probably need some glue to keep all the pieces together, otherwise things will fall apart later on down the road. What you need for this paper, of course if you're making a soccer ball you're probably going to want to use white and black, which I know both don't video very well, so I'm going to be showing you guys how to do the pieces in red, and then we'll piece everything together with the ones I've made that are black and white. So what you need to do is you need to wind up making 20 white pieces and 12 black pieces. And so you need to make sure you have enough of each of the kinds of paper that you need for that. We need to cut and prepare the paper for each of those two different various designs. If you start off with a regular standard origami paper that's 15 by 15 centimeters, if you fold it in half, and then you're going to be using both halves for creating the paper that you need. You should be able to get 4 triangles that you need, which are for the white pieces, and then you'll just need to do that times 5 so that you can get 20. In terms of the other black pieces, if you have one piece of origami paper, you should be able to get 6 to a page, so you only need 2 pieces of black paper. But I'll go ahead and show you guys here what we're going to do. I'm going to cut this in half, and we'll just pretend one side is black and one side's white, and I can show you guys the way we're going to be cutting our paper here. Now, modular origami is very based on geometry, and so having precision and trying to make everything as exact as you can is really key to having a really nice project done when you're finished. So take care to try to cut your pieces of paper right from the beginning. Also take care when you're folding to make really good folds. So if we're dealing with the white pieces, which you need to start with a equilateral triangle piece of paper for this, what we're going to do is we're going to take our half piece of origami paper, and I'm going to go ahead and fold it in half right down the middle here so that I can know where the center is. I'm going to use that as my guide as I do my folding. I'm going to open this up, and I'm going to take this corner right here, and I want to fold it down to that center crease and create a nice point down here. So I'm going to start that point and then just gently pull until I get everything lined up to get a good diagonal crease that runs and allows that tip to hit perfect with the center. Then I'm going to go ahead and fold the paper over, and I'll be bringing this top edge to this outer edge, and the fold should create a perfect crease right even with that fold we just made. So I'm just going to push this over like so, get a really good crease here. Turn everything over, and I have a nice little equilateral triangle here. And then I want to just create one more crease that's snug against this side, so I'm just going to push all this over as far as I can. You should be bringing this edge even with down here. So get that lined up real good, get a good crease. And we're going to use these creases then as a guideline so that we can cut the paper here. Like I said, you should be able to get 2 pieces here from this strip, and so that would mean a total of 4 from one piece of paper. So if you want your paper to be more exactly cut, you might want to use a cutting board. My cutting board is way too old and it'll only hurt my paper, so I'll use scissors. But ideally, you're going to want to get a nice, perfect little equilateral triangle that looks something like this. And you'll cut it out so that you have 4 from one paper, and then do that a total of 5 times so that you can get a total of 20 white pieces of paper for your soccer ball. Now, of course, I'm using red, so don't worry about that. We'll look here as we're folding. But what we're going to do then for this step here for the white pieces, I'm going to be trying to fold down this flap. Now I have a crease here from when I cut the paper. You won't have that crease all the time. I'll show you how to do this without that crease being there. If we look at one of these edges, I want to find the center. So I'm just going to go ahead and bring my flaps together here and just give a little pinch down at the bottom. Once I've done that, then I could take its opposite point over here, fold it up and line it up even with that center point, and that will give me a nice crease right in the middle, like so. Then, if I turn this around, what I want to do is I'm going to take this left edge and I'm going to pull it up to that top area here and give a good crease. So essentially you should be erasing everything that's underneath with the flap laying over it. And then I'm going to go ahead and take this part and taking this edge, I'm going to fold it over to here and bringing my crease snug with this edge underneath it. And again, if you can try to get this as exact as possible, it'll make your final project fit together so much better. So then I turn it around and I'm going to take that flap I just folded over and I'm going to do the same kind of thing. I'm going to bring that edge out to this outer part here. Get a good crease on that. And that leaves me with this part here, and I'm going to do a similar kind of thing by folding this over, getting it nice and snug and a good crease. And then I'm going to open it up again so that it looks something like this, a nice trapezoid. I'm going to turn it over and I'm going to fold this flap over in half, getting a nice point here. And then turn everything over again. I'm going to take this flap that I just created and I'm going to fold it up, but I want to tuck the peak underneath this flap here on the left. So I'll just guide that along in there. And hopefully, if you've been able to do all your folds right, you should have a little small version of an equilateral triangle now. It looks something like this. And then I'm just going to go ahead and fold each of my tips towards the center. Now, I would say that it's okay if these don't go exactly to the center. When I make this, I usually like to make it go just a little beyond where the center is. I'm going to fold it in and create a really good crease here. There's a lot of paper, so you need to make a good crease. But I'm creating the shape that I need here then. It's a hexagon. Put this guy up too. And I should then essentially have created this hexagon shape with these 3 tabs, and those tabs will be used to stick into pockets. And then if you look closely here, and I'll try to show you guys with the camera here, we have these little pockets here which will be used then for other pieces to fit into, and those are on each of these 3 sides, and then you have little tabs on the other 3 sides. So you need to make 20 of these, and it's a little time consuming, but the end result will be good. So that's the finished piece for the white version of the paper here for the ball. So I'll put this to the side. Now for the black pieces, you only need 12 pieces. And like I said, if you're taking a regular standard 15 by 15 centimeter origami paper, you should be able to get 6 pieces from that. And so you'll need to just do that twice. So you'll be folding your paper in half and cutting it in half again, like we did before here. And what I'm going to be doing next then is I'm going to be cutting this into thirds. So I just can kind of wrap around here like an S shape until I get these sides lined up and try to get as perfect as I can to a third of the way here. And just smooth this over. Get a good crease here. And then you're going to want to cut at each of those creases to get your 3 pieces of paper that you need. So that when you're finished, you should have 3 strips of paper, and then if you've used a full piece of origami paper, you've done that again, and you'll have a total of 6. And then do that again double times to give you a total of 12. So I'll show you guys how to fold the piece here, so we'll just put 2 of these aside. What we're going to do is we're going to just start off by folding our paper in half. I want to essentially create a little triangle here that'll serve as the base for my hexagon. So I'm going to start off, I have folded it in half and I have the open flaps down here at the bottom. I'm going to go ahead and turn it around so that those flaps are at the top. I'm going to create a crease that runs diagonally across here by pulling this flap backwards. And it helps to go ahead and start it first at this side, get it started, and then get this side started too, and then just slowly try to roll the rest of this flap out until you get a nice good crease that runs right along here, like so. Turn it back around again. Now I have this section here that's extended beyond the top. I want to fold that down so that my crease is even with this edge that you see behind here. And you want to try to get this as exact as you can. That helps with the folding later, but you should have something then that looks like this. And then this little bit of red, this little red triangle you see here, I want to fold it back so that I create a crease that's even with this white edge. So you can kind of turn it around to see what you're doing, but I want to try to even up with that as much as I can. So I have this nice thin triangle back here, and then this is what it looks on the front here. I'm going to take this white part that I folded up and push it down. So I have a nice little parallelogram here. And I'm going to take this white triangular section and I'm going to fold it back to snug against that edge. Can help if it turn it around a little bit here. Try to get to that edge as much as you can. It makes the project go along a little better. But you should have something then that looks like this. I'm going to turn it around so that that white triangle now is facing down. And I'm going to fold up, meeting up at the top. Get a good crease on that. So I have this nice white triangle at the top here. Now I'm going to fold down this way and this way, bringing these outer edges to this crease that you see that runs right through the middle. So I'll fold down here, and again we want to try to get as exact a fold as we can. So I make a nice crease here, and then I'll do this way too. Get a good crease on that. So I have those nice crisscross creases right in the middle there, like so. Now the next thing I want to do is I have this little white flap here, and I want it to tuck behind this part here so it kind of locks these two pieces together. So if you kind of just work with it a little bit here and shimmy it together, it's not very easy at first, but you'll kind of get your hand at it. If you just keep kind of moving it around there with your finger and your thumb, you should be able to get it to slip in there, smooth out, so that it's kind of locked there now, and you won't be able to pull that white flap out anymore so easily because it's kind of snug up there. So that you have something like this. Now I'm going to use those crisscrosses that I made as a guideline for the next fold. I'm going to fold this flap over, and I'm going to start the crease at this point up here where this diagonal hit, and I'm going to bring this tip to the other point where the diagonal hit. So that I'm going across like so. And I should create a nice little white triangle at the top. And if I do this right and I smooth all this out, this should come to a nice point at the bottom. Get a good crease on that. And if you open it up, it should be fairly close to where this comes to. It should be pretty close to that. And then I'm going to do the same thing on this side. So again, I'm going to be bringing this flap over right up there at that top crease. Have it come straight across, and this time this edge should kind of fall in line with where we just made that crease. Get a nice point at the bottom, and make sure you get a really good crease on this, especially in the top part, because that's going to serve as the edges for the ball, for the shape in the end. And you'll notice now that we've made a pentagon, excuse me, I'm sorry, the black pieces are pentagons, the white pieces are hexagons. But so then I'm going to go ahead, and I've made those creases now. I'm going to go ahead and take this bottom part, I'm going to tuck it up inside here. So it helps to kind of open that up, and I'm just going to let this shimmy up underneath here. Get it in there as far as it'll go. Smooth it all out so that you have something that looks like this. Now we should have these nice two long legs that fold up, and that gives us a nice pentagon shape right here. And then if I turn it over, what I want to do is I'm just going to fold these legs up a little to create some sides. So when I'm looking at the left side, what I want to do is I want to fold this up, and I want to keep this edge together as I do it. So I'm making a right angle. Now I don't want to bring this point all the way to this crease. I want to be just a little shy of it. That'll give me a little more edge space to work with. Get a good crease on this. So I get something like so. Now this part up here, I want to do the same thing, but not over here. I want to do it on this side. So I'm going to be folding this flap up and making sure that these edges line up and be just shy of this crease that you see right here in the middle. So fold up like so and get a good crease on that as well, so that you have these two arms that are coming in at different angles from those flaps. And that is the finished piece for the black piece. And again, you'll need to make 12 of those. And these have nice little arms and nice little pocket spaces on these three sides. So now that I have all these pieces, what I'm going to be doing is using the black piece as the base, and I'm going to just be positioning the 5 pieces of white paper around it. So if I take a white piece here and I just start up here at this side, I'm going to just put this tab into the pocket like so. And then I'm going to go ahead and put the next one right here. Now this time I'm not going to be putting the tab into the pocket. This is the tab, so it's going to go into this pocket on the white side. And sometimes this is a little tricky to get them in there. And then here I have this tab sticking out, and it can go in to this white piece here. And as you go around and you do this, you'll probably want to glue this so that it stays secure. But you're just going to be, putting things into pockets when you see them, allowing tabs to go where they need to. And if you just keep working your way around, you should be able to slowly start putting these pieces together. And you might find some of your edges are not quite the same that you want them to be. That's where like gluing can be helpful, because you can keep everything together. But you'd be putting it all around until you get something that looks like this. And I've already glued these together. But you get them all pieced around here together, and you have the 5 pieces of white with the central black piece here. Now you'll notice that these two up here at the top do not have anything to, no tabs to stick into each other. You're just going to have this open crease in this one area, and everything else will have something to stick into it. So, so I've got this part and the place where the crease is open here. So I'll take a black piece and I'll be using the point of the pentagon to serve as an anchor right here. So if I just put a little bit of glue on this guy, make sure the glue is secure as I do this. So get something like this. And then we're just going to work our way around and keep adding pieces as you go, fitting into pockets where you have a pocket, and slowly try to keep this all together. So I'll go ahead and work on this here, and I'll show you guys how I'm coming along. So when you're finished, you should have something that kind of looks like this. And you want to just remember as you're piecing it together to just keep slowly working out in a circle as you keep working towards finishing it off. And every time you get to a point where you're looking at one of these base black pieces, the pentagon piece, just always double check as you're putting the piece in that you have at least one section, like here, where there's no tabs keeping things together. If you put a tab in every spot, then things don't piece together in the end the right way. So just take care to keep that one area of the 5 without any tabs. So twist it the right way for that, and you should be able to get it all together and have a really cool soccer ball for Father's Day. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.